September 23rd. I am Bruce Leonard, and this is Bruce Leonard Leans Left, while it's still legal. Still legal today, thus far. As usual, things are happening fast and furious. Kimmel is back tonight, but Sinclair and Next Star Broadcasting are preempting his program. And I looked around. They own about 20% of ABC affiliates. So Kimmel will be back, but in 20% of the channels, they won't be showing it. Because they demand that he bends the knee to Kirk's wife and gives her a big check of money. Julia, what's up? This is a problem with the media consolidation. And I said, now these rich megafucks that own these stations, they're like, well, we don't care if you're, So what can they do? They said, we're not going to show it. They're going to show news programming instead. Which is they'll probably pipe Fox News in or something. Who knows? Anyway, so what can they do? I suggest that they pull all their other shows. I mean, this is a game now, right? It's a showdown. It's a Mexican standoff. And you go, oh, you're not going to show the shows? Well, how about we pull the rest of our ABC shows off the air? So I don't even know what they are. I saw a list of them, but there were some popular ones. That one about a school. I can't remember the name of it. Something elementary. It's a popular show. It's like, hey, yank that. Tell them we won't play that. You can't have it. These are big games they're playing. This is your freedom of speech. And I want to revisit the discussion I was having with about how this is different than the internet. It is different than the internet in the fact that you sign a contract with the company when you sign up for Facebook or YouTube or whatever channel you're on. Like I got a TikTok and I clipped something from this show and I put it on and they said, this goes against the standards. I still can't figure out why. Because I said Nazis, I think. And just that word was like, oh no. Because that's the only thing I can think of. It wasn't anything terrible or horrible that I was saying. I mean, you watch this show, you know the things I say. They're not that bad. It's not like I'm calling for violence or anything like that. But the difference is, this is broadcast television where the government controls the licenses, etc., to control what you see and hear on your television set. They buy programming from ABC to air it on air. They pay ABC for their creative content. The channel themselves has no fucking business in what the content is. You paid for it. You're buying the content. They control the creative control of the content, not the fucking government or the channel. Decide they don't like. If the channel doesn't like what you're doing, they can say we don't want to run this show because we don't like it, or it doesn't do well in our market, or whatever fucking bullshit reason they want to use. Not just to say like, oh, he said something that offended my political sensibilities. Like, he's a comedian. It's his job to offend your political sensibilities. That's what we're supposed to do. That's the job of being a comedian. You don't want to live in a country where you can't have comedians, because that means you live in a country where you can't say shit. So Jimmy Kimmel's going to come on the air tonight, but 20% of ABC affiliates across the country won't be showing it. They're owned by Sinclair and Nexstar. Now you can look up yourself in your town if they own your. And this is what you can do. Whether or not you like Jimmy Kimmel at all. That's not the issue. I'm not a huge Jimmy Kimmel fan. I hardly ever watch his fucking show. I mean, tell you the truth, I never watch it. And I never really thought he was that funny. But I mean, comedy's a personal taste, so a lot of people think he's funny, and he's been on the air for a long time. So I'm not downing him that way. I'm just saying, personally, I'm not a huge fan, so I'm not here barking for Jimmy Kimmel. I'm telling you that if you let this happen, they'll do it to someone else. And then they'll do it to someone else. And pretty soon, you won't be able to say anything before they're coming down on you. If you don't say what they like, it'd be like North Korea. Yes, dear leader is wonderful. That speech at the UN today, totally not embarrassing as fuck. I don't know if you saw that. Oh my God. We'll talk about that in a minute. I gotta finish this thought about it. Julia says she stopped watching broadcast TV 20 plus years ago, so it doesn't affect me, but I'm still fucking pissed that they're dismantling the Constitution and millions of people are happy about it. Yes. Well, that's true, but millions of people know what's really going on in this situation and have been willing to stand up and say, even Ted Cruz was like, you can't do this. Here's a pretty good sign that the world is falling apart. When you start agreeing with Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson, he said the same thing. It's like, hey, wait a minute. That's what I was saying the other day about you have to come to the realization that sometimes your enemy of your enemy is your friend, whether or not he's your enemy. And sometimes you have to work with people that you don't fucking like to save the country. Because that's how we got here. Everybody's fragmented, so this little fucking minority has been able to take control. But they're not the majority. How do they have all this power? Because people became apathetic, people didn't vote, people didn't care. The left is all splintered up, People were like, I'm not voting for her because of Israel, or whatever. Like, look what's happened in Israel since Trump has been elected. You're telling me it's better than the alternative? They wouldn't have let. I don't believe that the Democrats, if they were in power, would have allowed it to go that as far as it has. I really believe that. Just on a humanitarian basis, Trump, Netanyahu, these guys, they're fucking ruthless. They're cold-blooded. They don't give a fuck about anything. Look at Donald Trump. He claims, I just found out something I did not know when I was reading that. Did you know this? That Charlie Kirk's father designed the Trump Tower. He was an architect. So Charlie Kirk probably grew up around Donald Trump from the time he was, a young child, which is why I'm sure why he was so in awe of Donald Trump. One of the reasons. But my point is about Donald Trump. If he really knew this guy from the time he was a little kid, and they were working as closely as they were now, you would think that you would be able to see a speck of emotion from this person when his friend, maybe like an adopted nephew or son that he's known since he was a little kid, his whole life, that he would care that he was murdered. But you see, when you see him, he's a sociopath. He's a psychotic person. He doesn't have emotions. He doesn't care about anything except himself, his own ego and his own self-gratification. If you saw that speech at the UN today, the man is deluded. He's a delusional old man. But he's always been this way. He's peak narcissist. You know, he only cares about himself and the people that are around him. He only cares when he can use them to achieve his ends, whatever they are. You know, that's I found that very interesting. I didn't know that his dad was. Yeah, exactly. Trump. Julia says Trump don't even love his own kids. Of course not. Which unbelievable. What a horrible person this person is. We've chosen him as our leader. He's like the worst possible piece of shit you could find. There's nothing redeeming about the guy. I keep trying to think of, like, there's got to be, every human being has one redeeming quality. And please, if you're watching this, tell me, what redeeming quality does Donald Trump have? He's an asshole at all times. That's his whole persona, and he just keeps getting worse every day. I thought that that thing he did yesterday, or was it yesterday or the day before, about the Tylenol. And first of all, my question is this. If you know you're about to go on camera, right, in front of the whole country and the whole world, really, right, you would think that you would practice how to pronounce acetaminophen or whatever the fuck it is. He wouldn't get on the TV and sound like an illiterate moron. You see, he doesn't care. They showed a speech because they were talking about the UN today. They showed the last time he was at the UN, and they laughed at him. Like the crowd laughed at him, like it was a comedy club. And he was like, oh, I didn't expect that reaction. And he also didn't, like, appear to feel shame or anything that these people were laughing at him. He doesn't care. It's like, he lives inside of his own head so much that you don't count. No one counts. What? Jewish says only one redeeming quality that he will have, and that'll be when he stops. Right? When he finally shuts his fucking mouth. He can't stop talking. Listen to this. He was supposed to give a speech today, right? Prepared remarks for 15 minutes in front of the UN. His teleprompter went out, so he talked for 45. In comedy, we call that running the light. It's like, usually they give you a light when you're doing comedy, right? Sometimes if you don't know or you don't have a clock, you keep it for yourself. And just most clubs do it in general as a courtesy. So you don't have to think about how long you've been up there if you have to start, like, going off the cuff or whatever. So they'll give you a light. Yeah, you could say, I want the light with 5 minutes left, or I want the light with 1 minute left, or whatever, and they shine this light. And, or it means, especially if you're opening for somebody, like the time is of the essence. Like you have to stick to your time, right? That's a big rule of comedy. And so when guys don't do that, they just keep going. They call it running the light. Well, Trump was supposed to talk for 15 minutes. He talked for 45 minutes, which means he went 30 minutes over his time. He did. He was supposed to be the opener, and he did a headlining set. That's like, this will happen at open mics too. People, because at open mics, especially if you don't have a strong host who will go up there and make them leave the stage, guys will just stay up there. It's like they're there, and you're like, how long? It's like, guy's supposed to be up there for 5 minutes. He just keeps talking. That's like 10 minutes. You know, he just keeps talking. Now it's 15 minutes. You know, and then meanwhile, there's other guys that are waiting to go up. People try to do it all the time because a lot of guys, especially open mics, they don't get a chance to get on stage a lot. So they don't care, and they don't care about the rules. They don't care about fucking other people over. Just like Donald Trump would if he was if he was a comedian. Like, who is this guy? He's been talking for 45 minutes. And I don't know if you saw it, but he was just insulting them, basically. He was like, your countries are going to shit. You let all these immigrants in, and you're destroying yourselves. And I swear to God, everybody was just sitting there like, oh my God. He was like, oh yeah, I know how to do anything. I know everything he says. They have a hat that says Trump knows everything, and it's true. I know everything. It's like, it's so epically sad. And this guy should have text message. This guy should have text message of some ambassador from Europe somewhere or something. He was like, this guy's fucking batshit crazy. Why can't people see this? I'm like, yeah, you should live here, bro. The guy just fucking stood up there and lied. He goes, oh, since I've been president, the groceries are down, the gas is down. Is it? The electricity bills are down. Are they? They're not. He just lies about everything all the time, constantly. Everything he said up there was bullshit. All of it. Out of 7 wars I stopped. They were showing it tonight. Right before I came down here, they're like, well, here's the country. He said he stopped the war, and they showed it as a bunch of fucking killing, you know. It's like they're still at war, bro. You didn't stop nothing. Meanwhile, he's like, you gotta give me a Nobel Peace Prize, or I'm gonna keep randomly killing people off the Venezuelan coast and international waters. But I don't get a Peace Prize. It's unbelievable. And the way that they say, oh, these guys are narco terrorists, so we just blew up their fucking boat. What? Well, how do you know they're narco terrorists? They don't show any evidence of it. It's a reality TV show. All of this. That's all it is. That's all Trump knows how to do. That's what today was. His teleprompter went out. He went right into fucking apprentice mode or whatever. Took a switch. It was like, and then this whole thing's gonna come out again. You know, witch hunt and all these. It's a hoax and climate change. Climate change is a hoax, the biggest hoax ever been. You know, like it's all the same shit all the time. It's nothing new, and like I said, it just gets worse and worse. And yeah, I thought that he couldn't possibly embarrass himself any more than he did. Do you realize this? After he had that conference yesterday with RFK, when he said that Tylenol would cause autism or whatever, don't take it. other like health leaders in all the other countries were like, had to come out and say, don't listen to what Donald Trump says about medicine. And I'm going, really? Just that? You shouldn't listen to what he says about anything. They don't have any credibility about any fucking thing. It's an internet conspiracy reality show presidency. That's what it is. Trump is an old man who somehow they showed him how to work the internet, and he got sucked into all this QAnon bullshit, and it wouldn't surprise me if Trump was a secret flat earther. It's like, oh no, it's flat. There's an edge. Only I know where it is. It's like, if you listen, I can't understand how anyone can listen to him talk and not be like, this guy's fucking insane. He flip flops on everything. He doesn't really have any cohesive worldview except for himself. That's it. What's good for him? That's all he cares about. People are like, this guy's going to save us. You know this? Check this out if you don't know this. That guy in Argentina, the guy with the crazy hair, you know they love him. I don't know why. But anyway. He crashed the economy of Argentina. And now they're like, we're going to bail him out. Really? We're going to bail him out? What about they cut all the foreign aid? They did all that. They said, oh, we're not going to foreign aid no more. We're not going to spend the money. We're going to take care of America first. It's like, Argentina is going under. Oh, well, here's $100 billion. It's like, it's insane. And why are we bailing him out? Because Trump likes the guy? Because he's Trumpy? No, there's something he thinks he can get out of it. That's what I'm saying. But this is our money. Yes, Julia, that is true. She said the only one time I've ever seen him show any actual emotion was embarrassment and anger when Obama roasted him at the correspondence dinner. And yes, and that's what created Trump, actually, to tell you the truth. Like, he had hate in his heart, and then that just, like, stoked the fire. And after that, that's when he was like, I don't even think Obama's American. He's more than Kenyan. I saw someone say that today. I swear to God. On Facebook. They're like, you're still talking about this? Guess whose page? Ted Nugent. I don't know why. Ted Nugent's page randomly pops up in my feed every now and then. And I see a post, and sometimes I'll click on the comments just to scroll through and see what they're saying. And yeah, they're still talking about the birth certificate. And then Michelle Obama might be a man, all the things. All the dumb fuck things that you know. They still talk about it. You know why? Because these people aren't really original or thinkers in any way. They're told what to think by the machine. Like this guy trying to gaslight me out. But I wanted to tell you this. You're watching the show, and I thank you very much for it. But the show is catching on now because I started to get haters. And my views have gone from, 5 to 10 to averaging close to or 100 or above now all the time, whether I clip or not. So somebody's watching the show. Yeah. Julia says she blocked Sweaty Teddy's page twice. Have no idea how it popped up on my feed after the first block. Yeah, that's because Meta just feeds you shit. All these ridiculous right-wing pages pop up in my feed. I don't know why. Maybe they're trying to be like, this guy's left-wing, so you're showing us the right-wing shit. Try to balance him out. The thing is, all the right-wing shit is so ridiculous. I don't follow left-wing pages either too much, except for ones that post news. I mean, that's not true, I guess. I follow the Resistance and Occupy Democrats. But, I mean, I don't go there and like scour through their shit. They pop up in my feed, so I use them to get information for sure. Um, which is something else I wanted to talk about. There's this story that's floating around about Charlie Kirk's wife. Apparently, she used to work or help run some kind of orphanage in Romania, and people are trying to be like, "Oh, it was a sex trafficking." I started seeing this story, right? And this floating around. So, of course, it was never a story. It was always like the TikTok video or something, you know. Like, but it was out there, so I was like, I want to look into this. So I googled it, and there was one article about it from a paper called the Hindu Times. I think it's Indian newspaper. I believe I've used it. I mean, I've read it before. It's credible. And it said, "Oh, she did used to work at a place in Romania, but we looked into this, and there's no public record of, someone complaining that they were sex trafficking or anything like that. So they're like, we can't verify that this is true." Meanwhile, there's 100 TikTok, Instagram, X, it's a misinformation campaign, obviously, against Erica Kirk, which I don't agree with. So I tried to tell these people, I was like, hey, I look into this and I don't believe that it's true. Well, why you don't think it's true? I said, because if it was true, somebody be on this story. Like the people that went to look said, oh, there's nothing really there. So, but see, that's not how the internet works. And that's the problem. And we don't, or I don't. I mean, I don't speak for other people. I've said that a million times. I speak for me. But I don't want to be doing the same things that they do, which is lie and use misinformation to attack people that you don't like. It's like, if there's something to attack somebody with that's real, then that's fine. It's real. But to just make something up, to just smear somebody, that's what they would do. It's a scumbag move. Now, am I a big fan of hers? No. But in this situation, I stick up for her. And this is where the freedom of speech thing becomes tricky, right? Like, you have to have absolute free speech, right? Or else you start encroaching onto, government censorship and all this other shit. Blah, blah, blah. But then on the other hand, when people are allowed to just lie and make shit up, like that, and put it all over the fucking internet, then that's how we got here in the first fucking place. And people don't know what's real and what isn't. And do I have an answer to that? No, I don't. But it's a question that should be asked, I believe, and a discussion that should be had about, what is what and what are the rules. And same as the Facebook pages. That was my thing. Was no, they haven't updated laws since they made the fucking internet. So the internet is like the Wild West. There's no laws, and people make up their own rules. If you want to codify a Facebook page as an essential First Amendment free speech item, they should codify that by law. So in the ads to the Constitution, just not a whole amendment, just a paragraph that you tack on to the end that says, and everybody's entitled to a Facebook page, to say whatever horrible shit they want. With no consequence or whatever, But until they do that, tech companies have the right to take your page down. Do I like that? No. But that's the way it is. That's why the argument we were having was fucking stupid, because they don't understand it. It's not It's a legal argument, really. Once you get boil it all the way down, it's like, but we've seen ourselves with our eyes, right? That the law don't mean too much, does it? When the president of the United States just breaks it with impunity, it's like every other day, like he's blowing up boats in international waters. That's not legal. And they're laughing because fishermen are scared to go out fishing because they might get blown up. And he's laughing about it like it's funny. These are people that need to work. They need to feed their families. How you think a fisherman feeds his family? By being a fisherman. He can't go to work because you're going to blow him up. And he thinks that's funny. This is the kind of person you're dealing with. He's not a grade A human being, bro. I don't know. I still, for the life of me, I can't fathom why this person can just do all these things. Do you realize it's not even been 1 year? He's got the military in the streets. He's got all the FBI agents off of solving crime and terrorism and fucking scrubbing Epstein files for his name and cleaning up trash on the streets of Washington. He's blowing up random boats in international waters off the coast of Venezuela. I still can't figure out why Venezuela. Why he has such a grudge on for Venezuela. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. It's just like the UN. I found this out today, too. I did not know this. Did you know that many years ago, the UN was going to remodel and upgrade their thing? And Trump put in a bid to do the job, and they turned him down. And that's why he has a grudge on for the UN. It's like everything that Trump doesn't like there's a reason. He's a supreme grudge holder. It's like that's why I'm telling you, I haven't done the research yet, but I'm gonna look into it. Like somewhere down the line, he wanted to build a Trump Tower in Venezuela or some shit, and they told him no, and now he's like, I'll fucking show you. And he is. It's like, meanwhile, we're gonna bail out Argentina. I don't understand how that works. And now he can say, we don't have the money for the health care and all the other things that they cut in that fucking bill. And then he's going to turn around and put that money into Argentina. And people, the Trump people, they don't care. They don't care what he does. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it. He's shit right in their face. And they're like, yes. He's the greatest president I've ever seen. It's like, dude, he's fucking cutting your Medicare and your fucking Social Security. He's the best. Well, we gotta save money. Yeah, he just gave it all to Argentina. Well, you know, so gotta do what you gotta do. I said from the beginning, I was like, this is like a psychological experiment to see how much shit people would take before they admit that they fucked up. And the answer is, they'll never admit that they fucked up. They're going down with the ship. Unfortunately, we are too, but I'm saying they're fully committed. And the guy in Argentina, he's Trumpy, right? What happened? Fucking economy collapsed. That's because these are not good ideas. It's like, they don't work. Been proven over and over and over, hundreds of times. These right-wing people, they do the same thing all the time. They crash the economy. It happens over and over and over. And that's what happened in Argentina. Guys are libertarian right-wing. Fucking crash the economy now. We got to bail him out. Why? Because he's Trumpy, you know. It's unbelievable. And people just take it. People are like, whatever. He's the best. This guy has made a living on television, right? He's been on television thousands of times. Don't you think that you would, like I said, you would take a few minutes? There's acetaminophen. No, he just walks right out there. He's like, oh no, he saw it on the paper. I swear to God, you can go look. He saw it on the paper and he was like, oh no. He goes, I hope I say this right. Right. It's like a Saturday Night Live sketch every day. Except this guy's got the nuclear football. And the full access to the U.S. military. And they're out there, he's like, me and RFK and Dr. Oz have figured out in 6 months what everyone else hasn't. And I swear to God, I said, all the surgeon generals in all the other countries, Australia, UK, they all had to come out and tell their people, hey, don't be listening to Donald Trump telling you about medicine. And people aren't embarrassed. They're proud, right? They're like, we're respected again. That's what they say. Did you see that UN today, that speech? Those people sitting there, they don't respect him. They're like, this is fucking terrible. And they weren't laughing though, because like I said, they know he's deadly serious. He doesn't give a fuck about them, about anything else, except himself. And that's it. He even said to them, he's like, I don't do business with people I don't like. Which basically was a signal to them, like, you better fucking crawl up to me and, you know, kiss my fucking ass, because I don't do business with people I don't like. They're about to shut down the government, you know that? They were supposed to have a meeting and Trump canceled it. So they're going to shut it down. I don't think the Democrats are going to bend this time. They shouldn't. They want them to put back in some of that health care that they cut out in that bill. And they're like, they don't want to do it, so let them shut it down. Tell them, hey, tell the people, we're just trying to get your health care back. Seems like a winning argument. They have all the power. The government shuts down, it's on them, bro. They're like, oh, we need 60 votes. Yeah, that's right. So that's why you got to talk to Democrats. That's the only little bit of power they got left. I predict they'll try to change the rules again. Julius has got to tell you, one of the teachers here is married to an active duty Air Force guy. She said they're court-martialing anyone who tries to refuse to do what Keg's breath and them tell them to do. Yes. Yes. They're purged, the military, of anyone that will question at all. Because that's all they want is obedient bootlickers. Don't think that they don't think that sooner or later they're going to try to unleash military on you. That's what this whole thing is about. All this National Guard shit. They're trying to get you used to the idea They're like, oh, we're having to stop crime. You know, it's like, yeah, of course you stop crime when there's Humvees driving down the street. When them Humvees and shit leave, the crime will come back. I assure you. It's a mirage. But it ain't about that. It's about psychologically getting you accepting the idea of seeing military people on the streets, because eventually they're going to try to use the real military. He was already talking about it. And somebody says you can't do it. It's the Posse Comitatus Act, you know, which is true. There is a law that says you can't do it. That's in the Constitution, I believe. Because, you know, that's what dictators do. They use the military against the people. But when you see those countries, you see there's bootlickers with the gear on who are attacking their own people. And there are people here that would do that. I promise you, look at the ICE. Look what they're doing. They're not very nice about it either, you know. They like to rough people. I never seen anything like it. I never seen, like I said, I've seen people get arrested. I've never seen people like bust your fucking car window and shit. Like, that's fucking aggressive, bro. It's like, I've had some run-ins with the police. I've never seen anything like that. Like, I've seen a bunch of that. Videos of people getting slammed at. They fucking body slammed this congressional candidate. They were trying to have a peaceful protest and block them from getting to some, you know, I don't know, whatever. And they just fucking start gassing them and fucking slamming them on the ground. And they grabbed this woman who's running for Congress and they slammed her on the ground. And of course, all the people, you know, Nancy Maces and Laura Loomers were like, oh yeah, look at slam that communist to the ground. These are the non-violent people, remember, at all times. They would never celebrate violence, even though they do it all the time. That's the other part of this movement that the gaslighting is. I said this guy tried to gaslight me in the comments. That's what I was saying. My show's catching on. They got haters now. The haters appeared in the comments. And this guy started fucking just doing the, you know, what they always do, which is just say some bullshit and talk in a circle. And I was like, dude, you're doing that bullshit where you just talk in a circle, and I'm not gonna engage in that, whatever. And they were like, he was like, oh, you can't debate. And I was like, this isn't debating, bro. It's like, what's the debate? He tried to say that the right wing didn't have a network, a propaganda network, you know, like, what do you mean 1,000 people saying the exact same thing at the exact same time isn't a network? Of coordinated propaganda. They just all happen to have the exact same thought at the same time. You know, Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro and Tim Pool and Benny Johnson and Newsmax and OAN and Fox. They all just had the same idea at the same time. You know, it's crazy how that works. And all the Twitter account people, they're pushing it to the Crowders and whoever. You know, it's like, dude, it's a machine. It's a propaganda machine. And he was like, well, I want just to conservative talking points, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, dude, you're doing the bullshit gaslighting, talking in a circle thing that you always, you know, you all do. Like, that's their main technique, is to say a bunch of nothing, and most of it being complete bullshit. And then dig in when you can't, when you could just say, hey, this is bullshit. Then he goes, yes, that's what's wrong with you left people. He's like, you don't want any opposing information. I'm like, this is not information. This is bullshit. You know, it's like, what information did you bring to the table? If you wanted to talk about something and you had something to say, that's fine. I'll listen to what you had to say. But they never do. And then he's like, well, I'm not even on the right. Never did. I was like, you just fucking said you guys and all this shit. You know, it's like, dude, you just it's just like Laura Loomer saying that, like, they're not racist, and then just jumping on her Twitter and just trashing a black person, which she's doing right now too. Jasmine Crockett, I believe. It's called her a ghetto ass bitch and all this other shit, you know. And then they're like, we're not racist. It's like, dude, I would respect you more if you just said, yeah, we're fucking racist, you know. It's, don't try to fucking bullshit me. He's like, oh, I'm not a racist, but that ghetto ass bitch tried to shank me, you know, or some shit she was saying. It's like all these racist tropes, you know. And then they think they're being, you know, Ann Coulter does it all the time too. They think they're being clever, but really they're just being assholes. That's all I said. Like right wing humor. People are like, why isn't it funny? It's like because it's not it's not funny. They think it's funny to just be a dick. And like Laura Loomer, she's intentionally doing that. And she thinks that it's funny, and I'm sure a bunch of people that read Laura Loomer do think it's funny for her to say racist things about, you know, what Jasper Crockett. But then to come off, you know, to turn off the computer and turn around in real life and go, oh, I'm not a racist. Fuck you. Like I said, I'd respect you more if you just said, yeah, I'm a racist. Fuck that black bitch, you know, whatever you were going to say. At least you'd be honest. The whole thing about Trumpism is the dishonesty of it all. It's the whole thing's a con job of the highest order. It's like today, if you talk to people who support Trump or are right-wing people, they're more concerned about not being a liberal than they are that like having cohesive leadership. And a guy who's like, they're like, well, he might tank the economy, but at least he's not a liberal, you know, and like there won't be trans people playing sports or whatever else bullshit that they put into these people's heads. But the point is, what I've said before, is that we've made these cultural issues like more important than the actual leadership of like stewardship of the economy and like having a cohesive foreign policy that keeps the world together. Like we don't have that now, and the world is falling apart rapidly around us. %100% true. I don't think it could be denied. I mean, you could try to deny it here if you want, but I don't think you can, because look at the world. Russia's flying planes into other countries in NATO. They're testing the boundaries. North Korea is sending soldiers into Ukraine to help Russia. I mean, this is as close to a world war as we've been in a long time. You think Trump is Winston Churchill or somebody, you know, Franklin Roosevelt? Like, no. No, he's not. And these countries know that too. So if they had any ideas of jumping, like now's the time when the idiots are in charge. Like, that's why you need to buckle up. That's what I'm saying. Is like, I have a feeling that more bad things are coming down the pipe. But I hope I'm wrong about that. I really don't want that to happen. But the world, like I said, is rapidly falling apart around us, and our allies. He's just shit all over our allies. We don't have no allies. They can't trust him. Can you imagine? We've been best friends with most of these countries since after World War II, and in 6 months, Trump has trashed our relationships with these people, and you realize you can no longer trust this guy because he's crazy and he has no morals or principles or scruples, and he'll stab you in the back. I would say this, he's effective at that. It didn't take him very long. He said he's going to do a bunch of shit really fast. Well, he did that pretty fast. Exactly, Julia. Hope for the best and expect the worst. Exactly. But that's why I said, it's like, I find myself like gathering little things here and there. It's like, I never thought I would think about. It's like, oh, I need stuff. You know, like, cause what if something happens and everything falls apart? Like, I saw this chart. The dollar is doing the worst it's done in like 25 years or some shit. I haven't even looked at the bond market. People were selling off bonds before. I don't know what's. I mean, you listen to Trump at the UN. $17 trillion of investment. More than the whole global economy combined. It's like these numbers are just made up, bro. He's talking out of his ass. The truth is, he doesn't know. He's very confident in sounding like he's talking about something. But in reality, he's always talking about nothing. And most of it's made up. There's not $17 trillion of investment. That's bigger than like several countries' whole economies combined. It's impossible that he would have that much money. But he lies. I said constantly, he can't stop lying. And people just keep listening and eating it up. And you can't live this way. It's like everybody knows that person who spends more money than they make and is constantly broke. It is always on the verge of fucking becoming homeless because they can't pay their fucking rent. And everybody knows a person like that. But that's what Trump is doing to the country. He's just going around like throw money here and there, and throw 100 million to Argentina, and all this money it costs to blow up these boats. I mean, this shit ain't cheap. How much you think they're spending on ice? Every single day. Said it was costing $1 million a day to have the National Guard in Washington, D.C. Oh, look, I got a Twitter bot, or a Twitch bot. Cheap followers. I would only buy followers if I knew that they were forced to sit here and watch this fucking show from start to finish. Not bots, like real human beings who were forced. I might strap them into the chair like Clockwork Orange and put the put the things on them like this, and just make them watch this show. You paid for this. I'd do it then. Other than that, I'm not buying followers. Bunch of bots. I don't know, man. Yeah, Kenny's donkey brains, yes. He's insane. That's why I said, if you saw, like, it was very striking. In 2018, he gave a speech at the UN, they showed it to him, and people laughed. People were laughing at him. Literally. Which I'm sure made him hate the UN even more. But anyway, today, they weren't laughing. They realize that this is serious now. Because what he's cleared out the... he's cleared out the government. Yes, Julia, very well. He's cleared out the actual government of responsible people. And all that's left are incompetent nutlickers. And the rest of the world knows that they can no longer rely on the United States to be a dependable ally or to even be competent enough to back them up. This is like less than 1 year into his presidency. He's supposed to be there another 3.5 years or whatever. The world is going to fundamentally change around us, and it's not just going to come back if you elect, They got to win the House next year and put some kind of check on him, or this is, who knows what's going. But there's no Republicans that stand up to him. That's why I was surprised that Ted Cruz was like, hey, man, you can't just fire Jimmy Kimmel like that. Because it's true what he says. And Ted Cruz was like, hey, if you do that to him, sooner or later they're going to come for a conservative, and when this, because the truth is, no matter how much they want to say that, oh, this is the end of it and we're going to be in power forever, they're not going to be in power forever. Eventually, Democrats will win power back, one way or another. And then, that's the thing is, Trump doesn't think about that. Trump doesn't care. Trump doesn't care about the legacy. I don't believe that Trump thinks about the future. Trump thinks right now, like a little child. That's why he's always changing his positions, but depending on who he talked to last. He talks to Zelensky and he goes, yeah, the Ukraine is cool. We need to back them up. And then he talks to Putin and then he's like, Zelensky started this. I don't know what to. And now today he was like, Ukraine can win this war. He doesn't have any cohesive position. He thought that he could get Vladimir Putin to do something. That's how ignorant and childlike this guy really is. He didn't understand what kind of person he's dealing with, Vladimir Putin, because Vladimir Putin is way out of his fucking league. As far as, like, strongman, authoritarian, Vladimir Putin has actually strangled people with his bare hands. I'm pretty certain. Now, I don't have any proof of that. I'm certain some of those people that fell out the window or fell down the stairs, I'm sure he threw some of them personally. He blew up that guy's plane and then went out cold on TV and was like, I feel condolences to his wife and family. It's like, this is some gangster shit. The only thing missing was the Godfather theme playing in the back, and he even just one tear down his fucking cheek because that's how fucking cold-blooded this guy is. And Donald Trump thought that he could fucking get him to do something. And again, he talked a bunch of shit on his Truth Social. Said, oh, this, and then I saw even an interview he tried to sound tough. He's like, oh, well, I guess we don't have a relationship really anymore, because he's fucking, he's not doing what he wants to do. But he still didn't do anything. He didn't put a sanction on. He didn't say, we're going to finance Ukraine with some weapons, or, we're going to do this or whatever. He didn't do anything. He just talks. Tomorrow he'll say something different. And people will go, he's the greatest president ever. I've never seen anything like it. It's like a bad movie that just won't stop. It just keeps going on and on. You're like, how is this still happening? After all the shit, after grabbing the pussy and the fucking January 6th, and taking documents and putting them in the shitter, and it's fraud. It's like buying a porn star. It's like all these things have happened. It just doesn't matter. It just keeps going on. It's like calling up the governor of Georgia for votes. I need you to fly me votes. Yesterday, or a couple days ago, he just tweeted out on his Truth Social, just, hey, why are we going after, Adam Schiff and Letitia James and all these people? These are a whole list of people that he wants to. He sicked the prosecutor on Letitia James. Prosecutor came back, said, she didn't commit any crimes. I can't find any evidence that she committed a crime. I can't, and he goes, you're fired. He hired somebody else. Come in. You find the crime that she did. He's doing all this out in the open. The shit that Nixon did quietly in the back room of the White House. Although he had fucking tape recording on for some dumbass reason. But they weren't just doing it out in the open. Trump doesn't even care. He's putting it on his Truth Social. All of which should be an impeachable offense. He should be impeached and removed from office because that's not what the president of the United States is supposed to be. But in today's America, they've normalized all this crazy shit. You're a lunatic president. It's like, it's a crazy time to be alive. Joe Rogan used to say that all the time, and God damn it, he's right about something. It's like, it certainly is a crazy time to be alive. And again, I don't have answers for it. I just come on here and tell you what I see and tell you what I think about it. I'm not trying to. That's the thing that dude doesn't understand. You know, he's trying to be like, oh, you're talking this and that. His others like, I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do. You know. Now you can listen to what I say, and if I talk about something that you didn't know about, and it makes you go look into it, then that's good, right? I'm just trying to spread information to people. Maybe so. I always say I watch the news so you don't have to. That's part of the reason for this show, because I know a lot of people don't. I ain't got nothing better to do at the moment, so you know, I've always been a junkie. It works on lots of different levels. But the point is, I'm not trying to tell you what to think about it. I'm just giving you my take. These, what do they always say? The opinions expressed on this show are expressly the opinions of the host, and not his employer or the people that run this station. And that's why they say that. So that Sinclair Broadcasting doesn't say, we don't like Jimmy Kimmel, so we're not running his show till he gives a bunch of money to Erica Kirk and bows down to her, you know. It's like, that's not how it works in this country. That's not how it should work. And I said, am I a huge Jimmy Kimmel fan? No. I probably didn't watch the show. Like I said, never, I don't think. I've seen it, you know, someone else was watching it. It was like, oh, it's on. Oh, yeah. Joanne. Clockwork Orange, classic. I said, one of my favorites. I know a lot of the dialogue. That's how many times I've seen it. Well, I also read the book when I was young. This is something that you might not know, which I found out later, because when I was older, when I was in my 20s, I read that book, I swear to God, I was probably 10 or 11. My dad's friend would go to his house, and he had a big giant bookshelf, and I was always reading books, so I got exposed to a lot of adult books through there, because they'd be hanging out, you know, doing coke or whatever, so I would just sit around reading books. Till the day they turned MTV on. And everybody was like, that's when the television really took over. But anyway, here's what I was going to say is when I read it when I was a kid, they had a glossary in the back that had all the definitions of all the slang. So when you're reading it, you could go, what the fuck is that? And you flip to the back and it'll tell you the word. So that's how I learned all the words. But when I was in my 20s, I was working in the bookstore, and I was like, hey, you know what? I think there's like a discount on books. It's like, I think I'm going to read that book again. And so I bought a newer version, and there was no glossary. And I was like, how the fuck they supposed to know what it truly is, or a Nas? But Nas is pretty easy to figure out. But I mean, still, it's like, it's a word. You don't know what the fuck it is. It's like, the real order show. What the fuck does that mean? You know, like, and in the back it would have a definition. It was like a dictionary of all the slangs. And he's like, come get one of the yarbos. It's like, what the fuck is a yarbos? Oh, it's his balls. It's like, when I was trying to write novels, years ago, and I actually got pretty far, and then my fucking computer got fried by a lightning strike. I lost all the writing that I was doing. But I used to come home from work when I ran the bar and try. I was trying to write novels, but I was doing that. I was like, I don't know, dude, like Clockwork Orange and like make up of slangs, you know, like. So me and my friend were making up words for shit. It's like the future, you know. So they would have a new way of talking, you know. So we just make up something. Yes, exactly. Pretty Polly. But when you hear him say it and you don't know what it is, you know, you go, what the fuck is he talking about? It was easier when there was a glossary. That was my point. I don't know why they removed that. It doesn't make any sense. I was very disappointed. Anyway, I've been here for over an hour now, so I'm going to go. What is today? Tuesday? I'll be back Thursday at 6 p.m. Thank you for hanging out. And like I said, the show is growing, and I appreciate each and every one of you who do hang out. And please tell your friends. Hit the like button. I know I hate to sound like a fucking shill, but it does help, apparently. And I am starting to crack the algorithm because I said people are starting to find me. I'm getting more views, so thank you. You're the people that helped me get here, and I appreciate it. And we're not anywhere yet, but we're on our way. I'll be back Thursday at 6 o'clock. Thank you. I love each and every one of you. I am Bruce Leonard. This is Bruce Leonard Leans Left, while it's still legal. Thank you. Good night. Not one to